Okay, we're back with Ryan Littlestone, who's Director and Trading Analyst for Forex Live, and the man in black, Alan Green, CEO for Brand Communications, who thinks he looks cool and we're just wearing all black.
Lee Van Driver.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Right, Ryan, good morning, how are you?
Not too bad yourself?
I'm okay. this guy's so cool though. He's just like wearing black and everything else.
That was a funeral to go to later, yeah.
I don't know why. I just it was
Is
just
that the Quindell stock performance? You're
this
wearing black.
No, I'm not in mourning for Quindell anymore. They've changed their name to Watch Something Group anyway. All's quite good there, and shareholders should get a payout this month as well. So I'm awaiting my payout.
Touched a nerve, I think,
Yeah.
on that one. Ryan, currencies, that's much better than the shady world of stocks, isn't it?
Yeah, far better.
Proper international markets, international stage. Easy time at the moment?
No, it can be. Depends on how you're trading. Day traders are probably loving it. Swing traders are loving it. If you're longer term, you're just sitting waiting at the moment because we're sitting in ranges and everyone's waiting. I say every time I come in, everyone's waiting for the central banks.
Yeah. Isn't it just too easy? I mean, long the dollar. That's it.
That would appear to be the case, but it's what the central banks do. Are we going to go further after the ECB, and what happens after the Fed? Is that going to be the end of the dollar trade?
Right, and any influence on the Chinese being brought up to the top table with the renminbi?
There's a lot of talk about it. They've still got to jump through a few hoops to make it count, and there's worry. There's always that. You can. How many things you want to throw in at China?
That's just one.
That's the hoop they didn't have to go through.
Human rights,
human rights,
corporate governance. Where do you stop it?
Yeah, whether they're data.
Minor things. Let them bring them in.
Yeah.
But I mean, is that going to affect them? Is that going to be something that we're all going to be trading in the next couple of years?
Yeah, we've heard of a couple of brokers already looking to take on the new currency, because obviously you've got the offshore and the onshore one. So they'll come in eventually. Give us some volatility at the start. I hope. Something to.
Bit of that, the renminbi versus Bitcoin, that could be good.
Oh, yeah.
That'd keep people awake at night.
Yeah.
But anyway, today you're looking at the old favourites. First chart.
Yeah. Here we've got the ECB, the big one this month, right. This week. We've got three things that I've picked out to watch ahead of that. The manufacturing PMIs, which we've already had out. Now what we've seen across the board from the price data this morning is that input prices are still falling. They're still down. It's still manufacturing is still, it's costing less and less for people to buy their raw materials. We're seeing a slight tick up in a couple of countries and the prices they're charging, which is what the ECB will be wanting to see, price increases. Germany for the first time in 3 months. The Netherlands, they also raised selling prices, but then counter that with Spain, Italy and France, and they're seeing big drops again in the prices they're charging. So, disinflation or deflation is still pretty much entrenched, and that's what the ECB are going to be acting on. Number two, unemployment. We've seen better employment numbers again. For the last year or so, we've seen unemployment trending lower. Again, the ECB are going to say QE's working. Maybe they'll think twice about how severe they go with interest rate cuts or further QE. And then the big one is the inflation data, which we get tomorrow. We saw German inflation higher on the year, but then Italian inflation, it crumbled. It fell from 0.5% to 0.1%.
Do you think that November inflation data would actually influence what comes out on Thursday? I mean, has the die already been cast, or is it something which could still be changed?
Yeah, I think the die is cast that they're going to act. But I think this last round of data is going to be, how much they go, how much, if they cut the deposit rate, how much they go on that, how much QE, how long they further out they push it. I think for some people who are still sitting on the fence, obviously some people, like the Germans, don't want to do anything more. There's plenty of members that don't want to do anything more. They want to sit and let this transition. But I think, if you get a big change in these numbers, if you see core inflation up to 1.2, 1.3%, that might just, change a few minds.
Right. And the best scenario, is that they move on Thursday, causes the stock markets, the European stock markets to go through the roof, and you get the trickle down in terms of cash, really from there. That sort of investors and banks, more awash with cash from that, really.
Yeah, but it's going to be a fight because Mario Draghi is not going to talk up the euro. He's not going to say anything that sends the euro up to 300 pips. Because that's one of the things they're targeting. They won't say it, but they are targeting the euro because that's the last thing they've got. You know, as I say, the manufacturing PMIs, the results, the headlines, all coming in better, except for France. You know, that shows that there's economic activity.
Yeah.
So how do you say, right, well, the economy's bad, we're going to throw more QE at it when the data's telling you that the economy is improving? But it comes down to his silver tongue, and he knows how to talk down a market.
Quite good at that, isn't he?
Yes, yeah.
Right, I mean, and in terms of the trading, we've had euro-dollar sort of, I mean, I'm not saying it's bumping along the bottom, but I mean, we've had a big move down.
Yeah.
Sort of 105 looks like it's, you know, literally stretching it a bit at the moment.
Yeah.
Is that your view?
Yeah, pretty much so. But today we're up near 106. We traded through 106 today. Again, probably on the better data. So the market's thinking, oh, okay, we're seeing all this better data. Maybe they're not going to be as bad. But, you know, most of the market's thinking we're getting something on Thursday.
Yeah, yeah.
But isn't it a problem from the
That's
trading
Joe's
perspective that, you know, it's too low to be short,
Yeah.
but too weak to go long, and you're just sort of sitting there trying to, you know, I mean, if you bought the euro now and it goes down to 104 because of something on Thursday, you feel like a total muppet. If you go short now, and you lose money, so oh well, obviously you're going to lose money. It's been down from 115. So how do you play that? Because that is it's
You trade after the event. Excuse me, if you're not already in a position, if you haven't already jumped on one of these moves, then you look for your levels leading up, you know, trade the lower levels if they're strong up to the event. Otherwise you have to trade after. See what Draghi says. You know, if it runs up, you know, a lot of people are looking at the 108 level, but it's got to go a long way before all these shorts start bailing properly. You know, you're probably looking at, you know, 110, 115 before anyone really decides that the trade is over.
right.
So sellers are going to come piling in again.
But I mean, if there's on Thursday, we're sitting here on Thursday, the announcement comes through. Anything below 105, you'd be sort of looking to buy. Is that right? Initially, a knee-jerk move.
It all depends on what he says.
Right.
It really all depends. So you know, you've got to weigh it up. You've got to weigh it up, and then obviously that's going to lead into the Fed, which is going to keep the bias on a short euro trade.
Are you still betting on a December interest rate rise from the Fed?
Yep. I still think they're going in December, and I think that's the time when then you look to reverse any trades.
Yeah.
That's when dollar shorts may be the play, because the market's got what they wanted. You know, the euro might have one final blowout on that, and then, you know, QE is going to be priced in, deposit rate cuts going to be priced in. You know, the path of rate hikes is going to be priced in, and then everyone's going to go, okay, it's the end of the year, I've run this trade for a year or so, time to take it off the table.
Sure.
Let's just take a look at the final slide.
Yeah, so this is a trade I'm looking at. It's a bit of an outside trade, because a lot of people are looking at what they do either with QE or the deposit rate. But the first thing we'll get is the interest rate announcement. So that will come a 1:45, and then they won't talk about QE until the press conference. So you've got a potential 45 minutes between rates and finding out what's happening on QE. Now, this is if they don't change rates. If they don't change rates, that's going to catch the market on the hop, because most are expecting sort of a 10 to 15, 20 basis point cut. If they don't, the euro's going to bounce. Now, again, it falls into Draghi. Is he going to let the euro run up really high, or is he going to be his usual dovish self? That is what I think you're trading on. So the opportunity is, you know, if you get 100, 150 pip move just on that announcement of unchanged rates, put a short on into that, then run it into Mr. Draghi. But the risks are, if he brings out QE, if he says QE is going to change, you know, within the expected range, 10 to 20 billion, the market's going to go, well, you know, if we're expecting that, we're not going to sell the euro on that. Your risk to your trade is going to go higher. And if he's bullish on inflation and growth, if he looks at the numbers and says, well, you know, inflation's improving, so we're going to sit back and we're going to watch, get out. And if you can turn long quick enough, then jump into longs, euro longs.
Yeah. Intriguing stuff. Yeah. Ryan Littlestone, Director and Trading Analyst for Forex Live. We shall see on Thursday.
Yeah.
We will remember your presentation and we will not hold it against you.
No,
if it goes wrong, but
it'll be saved.
But anyway, you've really got the pathway there, so you know we sort of know what we should be doing.
Yeah, I hope so.
Thank you very much. We'll be back after the break.